The sword chose Neville. In the final battle for Hogwarts, Neville Longbottom pulls a sword out of a burning hat and beheads a giant snake. That moment feels like a miracle. It isn't. 9 years earlier, in Chamber of Secrets, an 11-year-old Harry Potter does the exact same thing. Same hat, same sword, same test of courage under fire. The films never explain why this repeats. They don't need to. Years before Deathly Hallows, the prophecy names 2 boys as possible chosen ones, Harry Potter and Neville Longbottom. Voldemort picks Harry. He dismisses Neville as the lesser threat. The camera disagrees. By giving Neville Harry's exact hero moment, shot for shot, the franchise quietly finishes the story it started with him in Book 2. He was never a backup character. He was the other ending all along. Snape's dough revealed everything. For 6 films, Severus Snape looks like the villain. He bullies Harry, protects Malfoy, and eventually kills Dumbledore in cold blood. Then, in the final film, his memories reveal a single detail that undoes everything you thought you understood. His Patronus is a silver doe. Earlier in that same movie, Harry learns his mother Lily's Patronus was also a doe. Same animal, same shape, cast by 2 people who supposedly hated each other. It means Snape loved Lily Potter for his entire life, long after her death, long after she chose someone else. Every scene where he saved Harry, risked his cover, or stared at him with quiet contempt suddenly reads differently. He wasn't protecting the boy who lived. He was protecting the last piece of the woman he never stopped loving, the Death Eater hero. In Half-Blood Prince, Harry and Dumbledore nearly die retrieving a locket meant to destroy one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. When Harry finally opens it, it's empty of the real object and holds a message instead. A note, signed only R.A.B., claims someone already stole the true Horcrux and swore to destroy it. Nobody explains who that is in the moment. The initials just sit there, unanswered, for the rest of the film. The answer eventually surfaces at Grimmauld Place, through the house elf creature's memories. R.A.B. is Regulus Arcturus Black, Sirius's younger brother, a Death Eater everyone assumed died a coward. He didn't. He turned on Voldemort alone, with no one watching, no reward, and no witness left alive to tell his story. A note inside a fake locket is the only proof he ever stood against the darkest wizard alive. Harry's biggest misdirection. Trapped by soul-sucking dementors near the Hogwarts lake, Harry sees a bright shape appear across the water and drive them off. He's certain of who cast it. His father, James Potter, died protecting his family, and Harry has just been told James could turn into a stag. So when a silver stag saves his life, Harry runs toward the water, convinced he finally saw his dad again. He's wrong, but not in the way you'd expect. Travelling back in time using a time turner, Harry returns to that exact moment and casts the Patronus himself, without fully understanding why a stag is the shape that answers his call. He wasn't rescued by his father's ghost. He inherited his father's form and used it to save himself before he even knew he could. The verse on the tombstone. When Harry finally visits his parents' grave in Godric's Hollow, the camera lingers on the headstone just long enough for you to read it, then moves on without a word. Carved into the stone is a line about death being destroyed, a quote no character ever explains on screen. It isn't decoration. That single sentence is the emotional key to the entire final story. Harry spends the last 2 films chasing 2 competing paths to power over death, the Horcruxes that cheat it, and the Deathly Hallows that supposedly master it. His parents' grave, visited quietly and never discussed, already tells you which side wins. Not conquering death, accepting it. The film hides its thesis statement in a snowy graveyard and trusts you to notice it without being told. The tiara, nobody noticed. There's a theory some sharp-eyed fans hold on to, and it's worth knowing even though it isn't fully confirmed. A year before Harry knows what a Horcrux even is, he hides his old textbook inside the Room of Requirement, tossing it onto a pile of forgotten junk. Some viewers believe a tarnished tiara is sitting right there in that same pile, the very Horcrux he'll spend the next film desperately searching for. If true, the movie shows you the answer long before the mystery even begins, and you'd have no way of knowing it. Whether or not that exact shot made the final cut, the idea behind it holds up. The Room of Requirement was always going to hide Voldemort's last secret in plain sight, buried under everything else nobody thought was important. The map's hidden confession. Fred and George hand Harry a blank piece of parchment and call it the key to their success. The moment he taps it with his wand, Hogwarts Castle appears in full detail, along with every person moving through it. Look at the very top of that map before anything else happens. 4 names sign it: Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot and Prongs. The scene moves on before anyone tells you what those names mean. By the end of that same film, you know all 4 anyway. Moony is Lupin, a werewolf nobody suspected all year. Padfoot is Sirius Black. Prongs is Harry's father. Wormtail is the rat that's been sleeping in Ron's pocket for years. A joke shop gift turns out to be a signed confession from 4 outlawed teenagers sitting right there from the first scene. Hogwarts' worst security backup. One night, students find the fat lady's portrait slashed open and empty, screaming that Sirius Black tried to force his way through. Hogwarts' entire security system was one painting, and it just failed completely. Her temporary replacement is Sir Cadogan, a small, overeager knight who challenges everyone and constantly changes the password out of pure enthusiasm. It plays like comic relief, but underneath it, something darker is happening. The safest place in the wizarding world just proved it isn't safe at all, and its emergency backup is a portrait nobody trusts to actually guard anything. Every silly exchange with Sir Cadogan is really the film quietly reminding you that the castle's protection is one slashed canvas away from collapsing entirely, and nobody in charge has a real fix for it. The clock's deadly warning. Inside the Weasleys' kitchen hangs a clock that never tells the time. 9 golden hands, one for each family member, point instead to where they are and how safe they might be. Home, school, work, prison, even lost. It's a charming detail the first time you see it, right up until you notice where the hands are pointing once the war truly begins. Nearly every hand quietly settles on the same word and stays there. Mortal peril. No character says it out loud. Nobody needs to. Every time that clock appears in frame during the darker films, it's telling you exactly how frightened this family is, without a single word of dialogue. Using nothing but a piece of furniture Molly Weasley probably built herself. Umbridge's paper prison. Watch the walls of Hogwarts closely during Order of the Phoenix, not the characters. One decree appears, pinned up by Dolores Umbridge under the innocent banner of school policy. Then another, each one slightly stricter than the last. Nobody sits the audience down to explain what's happening. The movie just keeps adding paper to a wall until the numbers climb high enough that you realize every student club, every gathering, every ounce of freedom has been legislated away, one small notice at a time. It's the quietest villain arc in the entire franchise, built entirely out of set decoration nobody points a camera at directly. By the time Umbridge is finally stopped, that wall of decrees has already shown you exactly how control actually spreads. Not all at once, one signature at a time.